All right. Well, good evening, you guys. Thank you for joining us on our Tuesday night continuing education class. I am really grateful for you guys for making the time to join us, and I'm hoping that by the end of class, you will go away going, okay, there are some things that I need to ditch and switch. And especially if you are living in a place where you might feel a little bit overwhelmed and like there's just too much life happening and too many things and your moods are going up and down and all of that jazz. So first I want to just share with you guys, as I remember a time when I would get severe head pressure from, the back of my head all the way up to the front to the point where I could barely see sometimes. I remember that it would sneak up on me and I'd have these little tiny bits of, a little bit of tension, and then all of a sudden, bam, and I would be lights out. And the only thing that would help is when I would go to the doctor and they would prescribe me something. And then as soon as I would feel this sensation happening, I would need to take that medication right away. And it would just basically put me down for at least a day. I also remember when I used to have cramps that would just be so uncomfortable, that would make me super crampy. And headaches would come along with them also. But I think worst of all was having these mood swings where my mood was all over the place. I also remember times, and still currently today, when I walk down the aisle in like a cleaning supply or maybe it's lawn care or like fertilizer and things like that, that I can physically feel my body hurt. And then enters a new way. New things are coming. And I remember, just having that feeling of overwhelm, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what things to use, what things not to use. And it just brought up a lot of different questions for me. And there were so many different kinds of disruptions in how I felt that I knew something had to change. So now it's been, gosh, I'm going to say at least 10 years plus since I've had over-the-counter things. Of course, I use eye drops and things like that once in a while. But as far as going to the aisle in um, the drugstore and walking up and down like I used to for all kinds of things, from seasonal threats and being able to sleep, not being able to sleep, those head tensions and all that other stuff, it's just been years since I've used anything. And part of it, I'm going to chalk up to going through my household and eliminating a lot of the different things, everything from the laundry room to the kitchen to the bedroom, being able to eliminate and getting rid of stuff and being able to replace it with things that were chemical free, toxin free. And it's such a better way. So again, you guys, I want to welcome you guys to class tonight. Thank you so much for taking time to spend with us. If you have any questions during class, go ahead and put them in the chat or wait until the very end. And there is a time when, as we go through some of these slides tonight, I will be asking if you guys have any recipes or anything that you'd like to share with us. Because you know what? That's how we grow, is by learning from others. So I wanted to share this with you. It's like daily toxic exposures and what the effect is for women. So on average, women use 12 different products daily that could be harming them, especially everything from self-care products. And it says here, it says containing 168 different kinds of chemicals. 1 in 5 of those products contain things that are known carcinogens, which is awful. And the effects that are having on us as far as being able to have reproductive issues or hormone swings or disruptions and all those things. And that's part of what we're talking about tonight, is how many of those things are disrupting our endocrine system. And for some of you guys, it's like me, I was just going, I remember a time when I wanted to have, I would have perfume on all the time, and I wanted shampoo and conditioner that left my hair smelling a certain way. And, to have my sheets, smell, 4 or 5 days later of the same dryer sheets and things. That was what my goal was. And then I was also, back to the very beginning, I was suffering from all kinds of different side effects, everything from headaches to body aches to mood swings. And so a lot of times, you guys, fragrance is a hidden chemical. Now, I love that this week I was able to listen to a webinar with Dr. O, and he said, doTERRA is not a fragrance company, especially our grade of essential oils is at the medical grade. And there's a huge difference. And some of those fragrance companies, this is the side effects that we're getting, is we're getting all kinds of issues and problems. And I know that as I have been able to eliminate so many of those, the perfumes and body sprays and lotions and candles and things have stopped for me. Like, I no longer have head tension. My seasonal threats are down to a minimum. And of course, if I'm, outside pulling weeds and I get the blossoms and that stuff all over me, then of course I have a little bit of discomfort, but I can fix it very, very quickly. So why does it matter? Why does it matter that we need to be aware of some of the things that we are putting on our skin, that we're putting in our household? Because long-term exposure, even when we have just a little bit here and there, can have big health effects over time. Okay, so what do we need to weed out? And then what do we need to nourish? And I love this picture because it's kind of like everything. And I'm going to go into mindset, nutrition. We're going to go into our medicine cabinet. We're going to look at our daily routine and see what is it that we need to get rid of in order to make our lives a little bit better, less chaotic, right? Okay, so these are some of the things that we want to ditch. How many of you guys use or used to use, these are some of those big things like the candles, the plug in the wall things, air fresheners. Okay, now I'm not talking about our mist diffuser, which is one of my favorites that you plug into the wall and you use essential oils, but the sprays that you spray on your linens and your couches. And I remember, I had a friend who smoked years ago, and going into her home, she didn't think anybody knew she smoked. And she would go through it and she would just spray, Febreze and all these different things so bad that it's like you could see this mist in the air. And it's a wonder that she and I would always have headaches when we were hanging out. Perfumes, scented lotions, body sprays, deodorant, skincare. There are so many toxins and chemicals and things in there that are really not good for us. As a matter of fact, one of our local chiropractors just posted on social media, which is worse, the sun or the sunscreen? And it was really interesting to see how people were commenting, well, I would think that wearing the sunscreen would be better because the sun can cause damage. And you guys, there are natural things that we can do because, a little sun is really good for us, bring on the vitamin D, but too much of a good thing is always not good. Everything from over the counter, you name it, ointments, little capsules for this and that, and, PMS, down to our soaps, body sprays. Like I said, my kids, growing up in high school, it's like they wanted those, really highly scented, high chemical, body washes and things. And then they would get out and they would spray, the spray on them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you can see this cloud walking down around them as they walk down the hallway. And now, everything down to, and including so many more things than what's on this list. If you guys wouldn't mind, go ahead and throw some of the things up in the chat of what that you've been able to ditch. Okay, so now we're going to talk about some of the things that we can switch to. So as we were looking at, the first topic or the first line, it was, candles and plugins and room sprays. Well, I absolutely love being able to customize my diffuser to any kind of environment that I need. So whether it's, to calm down the area or to help us sleep, or, if we've been cooking, broccoli and fish and things, that we can put in the diffuser different essential oils that will detox and cleanse the air and make it smell so good. And then the other thing I want to just mention is not only is a diffuser safe, but you don't have to worry about a flame and the candle and the wax and all the other things. And then on the right-hand side here, we have spray. And it's a simple, simple thing to do, you guys. I had no idea how inexpensive and how simple it would be to make my own linen sprays, body sprays, sheet sprays, you name it. You could do, sprays to go, down in your throat for, or toners and different things. And so as we go through this list, we're going to look at, for diffusing specifically, we can switch to some of these really great, easy diffuser blends. And I think if you would go in and do Google search doTERRA uh, diffuser blends, you could probably have them for days and days and days. And it's amazing how amazing the scents are. And so here are 6 of them that I wanted to share, and they're all, for everybody in the household. So happiness, tame the temper, pick me up, let's be grounded, spread the love. I mean, you guys, is anybody willing to come on and share with us some of their favorite diffuser blends?
Of course, my
Yeah.
toxic. I love spearmint and rosemary. It's absolutely divine. I love a new one that the boys have been doing is citrus bliss balance. Sorry, it's right here. Citrus bliss balance and green mandarin, which I thought was interesting. They've been putting it and it's divine. And then we also always love lemon, lavender, and peppermint. We diffuse that all the time.
So Sarah, do you have one that you guys like for certain times of the days, like getting ready for bed or
Yes, all the things. So we have ones in the morning that wake up the boys, and that's typically our spearmint or rosemary, or we do wild orange and peppermint. That's just their go-to. They like it's right here when they eat their breakfast. And then we have them throughout the rooms. But bedtime, so each son is different. Jeremiah loves his adaptive with lavender. He likes that. And then Levi loves Shinrin Yoku, which everyone knows how I feel about Shinrin Yoku. It's hard for me, but he absolutely loves Shinrin Yoku, and then he'll drop drops of citrus. He is our little bit of a hyperactive, and so it actually calms him down. So yes, we have every time of the day, and now that they're home during the day, it depends because they're boys. A lot of citrus, goes on in our home, and the dogs love it. Absolutely love it.
And can you imagine changing out your candles every time you needed to change your mood, or one for sleep, one for waking up, one for calming the kids down, one for immunity? It would be pretty crazy, huh? Okay, anybody else want to share any of their diffuser blends that they love?
I will. So, Shinrin Yoku in the evening. I love Shinrin with a little bit of serenity, and I like to put either whisper or patchouli in it. It's really calming to me. And then in the morning, I love the rosemary and the spearmint, but I love adding bergamot to it too. And that's something that I usually will diffuse anytime I am giving an aroma touch to somebody in my house. And they just say they absolutely love it, that it's very calming on top of having the aroma touch, right? So they are totally in their Zen relaxation space. So then there's Purify in the kitchen because I love to cook, and my husband and children love to cook or eat weird things. So sometimes the kitchen doesn't smell so great. And I like to, in my big diffuser, I keep Purify and lemon, uh, usually in the kitchen, especially now that it's getting warmer. Fishing will be happening, and my family loves to sneak fish in the house and cook it when I don't like that to happen. So, yeah,
Being able to have
there's
those really great things, Tammy, is amazing. And as you were listing off some of the blends, there are blends there that you're not only loving the smell of it, but it's helping, balance your hormones and keeping you on your mood balanced out. And as far as the citrus ones, you guys, gosh, they're so uplifting and happy. And who couldn't use more of that, right? While we're talking about this, I wanted to bring up, depending on when you're watching this replay, is being able to diffuse things like TerraShield. And I love TerraShield with a little extra arborvitae. During the summertime, I've gotten away from adding lemongrass to it because it actually attracts bees, which we don't want to do, but I'll add a little extra peppermint, arborvitae, sometimes a little bit more cedarwood. And if you look at most sprays for pests, it's crazy how toxic they are. And then we're spraying them on our kids, we're spraying them on our skin, which is our largest organ. And so you know that those are things that, eventually over time you could have some really bad side effects. So thanks you guys for sharing those. I also want to bring up switching to natural air freshening sprays. So I thought this would be a little bit different because we often just talk about diffusers or different things, and being able to just add, this is a 4-ounce glass bottle, and you can put 2 tablespoons of witch hazel in the bottom of it. That just helps it mix together well with the water. You could also just put a pinch of Epsom salt if you want to, but any of these, it's all the same. So you can customize them, and I love that, just like where Sarah and Tammy were both sharing different recipes for diffusing, it's like you can customize and you can add or take away from any of these recipes. And then instead of taking some of those, room sprays like we were talking about earlier that are deodorizing, or, pillow sprays and things that are so toxic with some of the chemicals, is then you can make these sprays and you can use them to freshen up gym bags or laundry rooms. Or I love, before I have guests come over and stay, I always spritz the towels so that there's a real nice fresh aroma on there and they smell like they've just been laundered, even if they haven't. I also love spraying the pillows before I go to bed at night. It's a really great way to keep that scent there with me close at all times. And body sprays, just getting right out of the shower and being able to take and add a little bit of coconut oil. So for this 4-ounce spray bottle, you could add a couple of tablespoons of our fractionated coconut oil. And then with this, you're just going to need to shake it each time you use it. But being able to have that real moisturizing body oil spray, which is really great. I love doing that, especially if I've been outside in the sun a little bit, or my skin just gets a little bit drier during the summertime. So just know that you guys can really take these and mix them up. Make sure you take a screenshot of this so you'll be able to have these recipes. And you could take the same recipes and cut them down. So instead of like the one that says forest, instead of 10 drops of Siberian fir, 8 drops of frankincense, 8 drops of copaiba, and 4 drops of arborvitae, you might do, 3 drops of Siberian fir, 2 drops of frankincense, 2 drops of copaiba, and 1 drop of arborvitae, and you could diffuse that in your home. I know Tammy's on here and she loves that oil, so she might just take a full strength and put that in her diffuser. But the best part about everything that we do with essential oils, and especially when we're making our own stuff, is you guys can customize it. If you want it to be a little stronger, add a little bit more oil. You're not going to hurt anything or anyone, and it's safe for our entire family. So everything from our four-legged fur friends to our kids to babies to people who have different things going on, they're all safe to be around these. Okay, another one that we want to switch is deodorant. So how many of you guys use doTERRA's deodorant, natural deodorant? So we have these 2 that are available for purchase that are already made, which so many times, you guys, we have 2 types of people. They like to make their own, or they do not like to make their own. They'll pay whatever it takes to be able to get this stuff and not have to make it themselves. And so we have Balance, which is a really, really great deodorant. It's all natural. People love this one. It's super grounding. Men and women both like this. And we also have another one, which is the orange and fur. And this is the one that I prefer. I love it. To be honest with you guys, I don't use a ton of deodorant. I've gotten to where I only use it when I'm, speaking in public, or usually it's when I'm speaking in public or doing a big event. And so anyway, so these are really great. On this recipe of your homemade deodorant, it's right here. Go ahead and take a screenshot of this. I also want to just tell you, with these essential oils that are listed here, the tea tree and the lavender, you can substitute those oils out for anything you want. So Tammy, we know that she likes whisper and patchouli. So instead of you might put some of the tea tree in there because it helps to fight the odor, right? But instead of the lavender, put whisper in there. And when you're making it, you guys just add a little, just like with us. Anytime we teach you with essential oils, use less, and then you can always add more. So don't start out with, 50 drops of something and then go, oh my gosh, it's so strong. Just start out with a little bit. Now I also want to mention here that I have a lot of friends who will just take other essential oils and use them and just roll them right under their arms and use them instead of making an odor or a deodorant at all, or using one that is a solid. They're more of a liquid. So you can purchase a 30 ml bottle, which is 3 times the size of the roller bottles that we're used to getting. And so you can make it in like a bulk size. I know people use Clary Calm, they'll use Immortelle. Does anybody have a recipe or something that they use to switch out the toxic deodorant and have replaced it with a natural one?
HD Clear.
Mm.
Weird enough. It actually, like, if you're all about just, you don't want a deodorant at all, I'll put HD Clear on and let that dry, and then I'll put my deodorant on. But it's incredible what it does. It actually kills any stench, anything.
Mm. Plus, it's super good for your glands and things. I love HD Clear. I've been using it a lot for different things recently. I did have a friend reach out to me and say she couldn't be on the call tonight, but she wanted me to share that she uses the frankincense stick. And so I think any of those sticks would be able to be used also. Just remember, if you're using straight oil like HD Clear, if you have sensitive skin, you could take a 10 ml bottle and pour it into the 30 ml. And why I like the 30 ml, you guys, it's got a great big huge roller on it, so it's a lot easier to get the oil on. But then and then you could use and dilute it with fractionated coconut oil, 2/3. And so super easy, really good to do. I love Immortelle also, so I'll take the 10 ml Immortelle and I will pour it into a 30 ml, and then I fill the whole thing up with fractionated coconut oil. Why I use fractionated coconut oil, another one would be, I just lost it. The other oil that doTERRA is working on getting. Anyway, you could use those, and they don't clog the pores. They actually are really great. They don't clog the pores. It's lightweight. You barely feel it on your skin. It's super silky, soft. And a little bit of oil goes a long way. So thanks, Sarah, for sharing that. All right, you guys, on to the next. So we can also switch to, so on the list was ointments. A lot of people will buy, whether it, and I'm just going to use, petroleum jelly. Oh my gosh, stuff that you would put in your car, you're putting on a wound or a cut. We started making this super goo a long time ago for tattoos. And we had a local tattoo artist come in and say, could you create something that could help with the tattoos as they're getting better? And I was like, sure. So we made it, and they absolutely loved it. But then other people started buying it. But it was kind of strange selling tattoo goo to little kids and for moms and for dogs and stuff. So we changed the name to Super Goo. You guys, again, take a screenshot of this because it's absolutely an amazing essential oil, or sorry, goo or blend. And it's I always call it's the everything. When in doubt, get the super goo out. And like always, you can take the essential oils that are listed here and you can exchange them or customize them to what your personal needs are. So I make a special one for my dog. And as a matter of fact, I need to make some again because we've got ticks that have been coming out, and being able to make it for like his paws when they would crack, and if he's got little wounds or scratches and different things like that. But you can definitely customize this and make it the best for you. But I promise you guys, when you make it, this one makes 16 ounces, which is approximately 2 cups. And what we do is we put it in little 1-ounce containers, and then we're able to share it with our friends or put them, in different things around your house. You could put it in your car or your desk. Now this goo is not as thick as some of the other things that we make. You could increase the beeswax if you want it to be a little bit thicker, more like a salve or a paste, but I'd like this consistency. Okay, so I'm just going to come on here for just a second, and I want to just go back to where we started with what do we need to ditch and what do we want to switch it for? So we have candles and plugins and air fresheners. Well, we can completely replace that with diffusing or making our own room spray. We have perfumes that you can buy at the grocery store, department stores, and and they are so strong. And that's one of the things that when people will, walk into an elevator and you have somebody who just walked out that's wearing a lot of perfume, it just sits there and lingers and lingers. And that's when you get those headaches, is because it has, all these chemicals and all these different things that they put in there that are blocking our receptor sites. Scented lotions. So one thing that I love to do is I have doTERRA's unscented lotion. I keep it in my bathroom, and one of the things I love most about it is, just like we were talking about diffuser blends or room sprays, we can customize exactly what we want for our skin. And whether we're, trying to, first thing in the morning, we could do citrus bloom or citrus bliss, or, and at night we might be putting something like serenity and cedarwood or vetiver, and you can really customize those to get exactly what it is that you need. Making our own perfumes is so easy, you guys. You can take that 10 ml bottle, and just like Tammy was sharing earlier, the Whisper is like a women's perfume already. Maybe it's a little bit of a, gosh, it's got a lot of really earthy tones in it. And so when I first smelled it, I was like, okay, I like it, but it needs to be a little bit brighter. So I make a blend, and I put bergamot and lime oil with it. And it's truly one of my favorite perfumes. Let's see. We talked about deodorant and being able to change those over, make our own. Skincare. So many ingredients, you guys. If you have become a great label reader, so many ingredients are hidden in the label, or, they have these big old long words and things with all these numbers and colors and things like that. As many things that you can't say on a label reminds you that it's probably not good or not natural. We've got two really great skincare lines. We've got the Virage, and we also have the Essentials line. Make sure you reach out to whoever invited you to watch this or join us tonight, and ask for more information on that. And then doTERRA's Sun, right? Gosh, you guys, I have fallen in love with the Sun products. I know that I can use it on, anybody at any age. I love that you get 100% of the product out of the bottle. I love that they use natural ingredients like aloe and, essential oils that are in there that help with skin irritation or calming down the skin, like helichrysum and frankincense and lavender, which are natural ways to protect our skin already. And then also something that some people aren't aware of, and I'm sure this is limited to a doTERRA product, is it also helps with the blue screen or the screens that come off of our computers. And so as we're using these different products, they're making such a huge difference for us. The over-the-counter stuff, we talked about Super Goo. How about Deep Blue? Clary Calm. There are so many products that we have that you can use. You can layer them up with different things to really address every single thing that women experience and go through. Different soaps. How many of you guys use the bar soap from doTERRA? Now, this bar soap is awesome. This one is Serenity. They also have Citrus Bliss, and then they have one that's just a bar that I think is unscented, if I'm correct. I love them. You guys know that they've got great ingredients in it. And I know, Sarah, are you able to share your son who loves the bar soap?
Levi, about Serenity, that one. Yeah, I was gonna say, Luke, my other child is right here. He could talk about Balance Bar. He loves the Balance Bar. But Levi was really attracted to Serenity. I happened to do a workshop, and I took our Serenity bar and cut it into chunks, and he was helping me. He goes, "Why don't I have this?" And I go, "I don't know. I just didn't think, I thought you liked Balance like Daddy." And he now requests the Serenity bar because he says it makes him smell magical. So he loves it. He uses it on his hair. He uses it part of his body and he savors it. And it's on like one of those little bar soap pads because he doesn't want it to ever go away. But he loves the Serenity bar. That Luke loves the Balance one. He has it in one of those satchel things you sell. I don't know what Velcros, and he loves the Balance. He says he knows where it's at because it kind of tints your skin. It gives it that blue tint, and he loves the Balance bar.
Does he turn blue after he uses it?
Yeah. He's my little blue man.
Right on. You guys, and I love also with the soaps is they're super gentle. And so if you have sensitive skin or you have, we'll have moms come in and say, my child has eczema. We have all these different things, or we have dry patches, and that's where we can target these different soaps. And I absolutely love them. So, all right. And then lastly on here is toothpaste. Even on the container of most toothpaste, it says that it is not safe to swallow. And yet what we're not swallowing is on our teeth and our gums, which is super great place to cause all kinds of problems. And so I love the On Guard toothpaste, and I'm super excited for the Super Mint. That's the one thing that my family really missed was the mint part. Although what we do is we just put a little bit of toothpaste on the brush and add a drop of essential oil, depending on, like before it was On Guard, we would put a little bit of peppermint or something on there. What I love about it is people here locally, when they use this toothpaste, the dentists know. They can tell a difference in their gums. They can tell a difference in the cavities and things like that. And it's amazing. Like I love it. And I wouldn't use something that has all kinds of warnings on it, especially not with my littles. And so this is safe for our entire family. Okay, so the next part is, eating out. So there was a study recently that said if you eat out once, it gets rid of all of the good flora and microbiome in your entire body. And so you need to be able to have nourishment. I also was listening to something and they were saying how they tested the Big Arches hamburger for how many different types of beef were in there. And it was something like 13,000 or something, some crazy number. And I'm like, how can there even be that much in there? And first of all, I didn't know there was any meat in it. So, but you guys, the products and the food that is out there for us right now is absolutely insane. And it has hardly any nutritional value. So we live in a time when it's really important for us to be able to supplement. And this trio right here has been life-changing. There's so many good things about it. Everything from, over 90 different fruits and vegetables and products in the VMG, which is bioavailable. So your body can absorb it. Plus it's bioretentive. So up to 8 hours, it's been shown that your body can continue to get nourishment from it. And then we have the PB Restore, which is everything gut. It is by far way better than our last probiotic because it's got pre, pro, and postbiotics and really great. So there's so many good things about being able to support our gut, which has a lot to do with our hormones. It has a lot to do with our mood. It has a lot to do with everything, how we feel and how we act. And so there's a lot to that. And then lastly, but always just as important, is the E Omega Plus. You guys, this one is everything about your brain health, your heart health, and everything in between. And so this one is delicious. You can actually take one of those capsules and bite it right in your mouth. And when I challenge people to do that, I always get a weird look from them. And it's like, no, try it. And it has a really nice, soft, wild orange flavor. And so what I do with mine is I pop one or two of them in my mouth and then I'll swallow the other one because I want to make sure that it's getting through my whole body. You guys, this is known as our foundational wellness bundle. And just by, ditching and switching some of the things that you've been using over the counter that are made maybe of lots of fairy dust and things, if you're not feeling really good, then I would challenge you to get on this for 90 days at least and just see how much better you'll feel. We also have an award-winning collagen. You guys, this is so much more than just a collagen powder that you can purchase and mix in with your coffee or whatever. This one has 9 different types of collagen. So it really does address so many different things, way more than just hair and nails, but it goes into the way that you feel, your energy, the way that you recover after, being fatigued or a lot of exercise. It helps with your joints and just all over wellness. And people have really been able to see a huge difference in the way that they are able to perform. Some people are actually saying they feel better now than they did like 10 years ago with just adding these products to their daily routine. Now we're going to go into a little bit of mindset, because we can do all of these really great things. We can know what to do. We can ditch and switch, and we can, slowly take our house from being, toxic. And it's not just our household. It's actually our mindset, our body, everything that has to do with us. And this is a really great chart for just some daily practices. Being able to have a daily routine by what do you do when you first wake up in the morning? Do you take time to give gratitude, or say a prayer or a meditation, or, just kind of get your intention started so that the rest of your day can kind of fall into place. You can ask for help when you need it, or be able to, hang out with people who have like-minded priorities and goals, and that really want to be out there doing good and making a difference. On a podcast that I recently listened to, they were asking the doctor, if there was one thing that you could tell people today with young families what to do, what would that one thing be? And he said, sleep. Sleep is one of the most important things for our bodies. It's when our bodies recover. It's when it starts to try to heal itself. It's when we rest and we're able to face all the different things the next day. And so, getting proper exercise is going to also help. When we're getting good sleep, when we're eating healthy, we want to get out. We want to be more adventurous and get exercise and go do more things. Okay, so also the way you start your day determines the kind of day that you're going to have. So this is, and it could be 2 minutes, it could be 30 minutes. If you're lucky, it could be an hour, where you can take enough time to really, meditate, prayer, have some reflection of, what happened yesterday, what would you like today to be? And so these are some oils that are really great. I love starting each morning with a drop or two of balance, go straight on the bottom of my feet, and then I always inhale and just breathe that in. And Serenity has become one of my favorite oils. From the time I started with doTERRA till today, I use the Serenity stick, I use the Serenity gel caps, and I absolutely use the Serenity oil, whether I'm putting it in a hot soak before I go to bed at night, or it's always in my diffuser. I also have a bottle sitting on my nightstand, and I'll put a little bit of the oil on, and then I put the Serenity stick over the top. And then vetiver. Vetiver is one who, this oil really helps us to get centered, to be present, and to be connected. I have, again, this one is sitting on my nightstand. I've taken the little orifice out of it because sometimes it takes forever to get out of the bottle. So I just took that orifice out, and now I just use my finger. I put my finger over the top, tip it upside down, kind of scrape it off onto the little bit, because you only need a little bit. And then I'll just put it on the back of my neck. And then sometimes I'll rub it also across my chest. And then just being able to have some, visualization, or being able to have your diffuser going, giving thanks and gratitude. Great oils to do that with would be like wild orange. I love wild orange because it just is happy. And you guys, don't worry about blending some of them. Like, I love Balance Serenity and wild orange together, or sometimes I'll do Serenity and Breathe. These are all ones that you can mix and match. None of them are really going to keep you awake, or maybe they will help you get a little bit more of a jump start in the morning. So to achieve something better, you must be open to change. I think that's probably such a true statement here, is because, if we keep doing things the way that we've always done them, or we fall back into habits, then nothing, months later, weeks later, years later is still going to be exactly where we started. Here are some nourishment tips. being able to feed your mind healthy thoughts. What we think about comes about. So just really, and who you're hanging out with, if you're hanging out with a bunch of people who have, negative thoughts and they're always talking about people or saying things that are, pointing out everybody's faults, well, spend less time there, spend less time with them. Enhance your morning routine. If you're not doing anything in the morning, just start with one thing, maybe 1 minute of just going, okay, I'm so grateful that I woke up this morning, right? It can start that easy. Take time to breathe in and breathe out. Gosh, you guys, just taking a few deep breaths of just breathing it in and exhaling it out. And then make sure you increase your hydration. I know a lot of people who are walking around really dehydrated, and they'll say, well, I drink a lot of water. And it's like, well, that doesn't matter because your body needs to be able to hold on to the electrolytes, and you need to be able to have those minerals and things so that your body is functioning better. Increase your exercise and movement. If you guys are really active right now, maybe just add one more thing or 5 more minutes. I love just one more, right? It's like I'm doing laps around the track and I'm just going to do one more and just get a little bit better. And then set a timer. Set a timer for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Really, the timer can be for two things. It can be for how much time you're going to have your self-care and do some of these mindful routines, or it can also be for how much time you're spending on like social media. How much time are you, in a place of chaos? And when you are setting those timers, the less time you're spending, doing things that are going to fill your mind up and keep you super active and overwhelmed. Let's do less of that. A big change begins with a single choice. Keep choosing. Small, consistent actions can create massive results over time. So I don't think anybody has to go from 1 to 1,000. It's just starting at 1. Okay, you guys, we have talked about some incredible products and just really easy, simple ways that you can ditch and switch some of the things that might be causing some of those effects that you've been experiencing that you have been dealing with for a long time. And just again, one small step will lead to big results. When we are ordering our essential oils, I want to just share with you guys the only way that I buy mine is through our rewards program. Now, when you first get started with doTERRA, you're going to have the option to start on your rewards or not. Either way, it doesn't really matter, except for if you want to get the most out of your membership and to get, free products and be able to get free points and things like that, then you'll definitely want to look into our rewards program. It starts at 10% for the first 3 months. And then after that, you can earn all the way up to 30% back on the products that you're purchasing. Now, I don't know another rewards program out there that even goes up to 10%. Most of them are like 2 or 1 or maybe 3 or something. And so this is a really great way for doTERRA to say thank you for being such an amazing customer or giving it a shot. They want to invest in you and give back because you're investing in you also. That foundational wellness bundle that I was talking about, for the first time that you order it, as a set, you will also receive a thank you gift from doTERRA, which is this little glass shaker bottle and a 5 ml bottle of peppermint, which has 85 drops of oil. It's a $40 value. And that's just as a thank you. And plus, for me, when I have my VMG, it sits right next to my bathroom counter. It reminds me it's there. And anytime I have things that are where I can see them, I use them. Okay, on the right-hand side, I want to invite you guys to Good Vibes recipe book. There are over, there's over 300, there's closer to 500 recipes in this book. Some of the recipes we shared with you guys here tonight, you can also find some of them in Good Vibes. The book is amazing. And if you use the word save at checkout, you can save an additional discount on this. It's worth every single dollar. All right. I want to just say thank you for spending tonight with us. I know that there are a million different places that you could be and probably doing a lot of different things. And so hopefully tonight you were able to take away something that you could ditch and switch, even if it's just that one thing. And what I found is it took me a little while. So when I first was introduced to doTERRA, I held tight to some of the things that I had had in my medicine cabinet because I thought, well, what if I need it? Well, what if I get, what am I going to use instead? And I had to build a trust up for the products. And I really was a busy person, and I'm thinking, I'm not going to take the time to make my own goos and things like that. I'll just, keep using this for now. And little by little, the more that I used the product, the less that I wanted to use things that were over the counter. And I'm going to say within about 9 months from the time I started, I was able to take all of the rest of the stuff out of, the cleaners and the laundry detergents and especially the things in my medicine cabinet. And I was able to put them in a big bag and donate them to a cleanup, green up around our town so that they could properly dispose of these things. And it has just been the best decision that I've ever made. I feel better. I have lots more energy, and I'm just super grateful to have the opportunity to be educated and learn about natural living, and especially when it comes to my hormones and, different stages of life. I can't imagine doing it any other way. All right, you guys, I'm going to stop the share. And we're going to say goodbye, and then we can stay on and we can talk and say more things. But those of you guys who have joined us here live, part of the bonus is getting in on all of the after talk, which is usually my favorite part of class. So, all right, I'm going to stop the recording.